Ever wondered what really separates the good performers from the truly great ones? It's not always about raw talent or having the highest IQ. There's this other kind of hidden key to success, and that's what we're going to unpack today: emotional intelligence.
Yeah, really think about it for a second. The most successful people you know, whether it's at work or just in life, is it just about their skills or how book smart they are? Probably not. The research actually points to something much deeper, a really fundamental quality that's at play.
And that something is exactly what we're talking about: emotional intelligence, or EI for short. Now, a lot of people think this just means being nice, but it's so much more than that. It's this powerful toolkit of skills that helps us navigate our super complex social world. And the interesting thing? It all begins with mastering the one person you have the most control over, and that's you. So, to really get a handle on this, a great place to start is with the work of psychologist Daniel Goleman. He came up with this really groundbreaking model that breaks EI down into 5 key pieces. And guess what? Our journey starts by looking inward. Okay, so the foundation is built on these 3 steps. First up is self-awareness. This is literally just recognizing your own feelings as they're happening. So you might notice, hey, I'm feeling really frustrated after that meeting. Simple, right? Then comes step 2, self-management. This is all about what you do with that feeling. So instead of snapping at a coworker, you handle it. Maybe you take a few deep breaths to cool down. And finally, there's self-motivation. This is where you actually use your emotions to push you forward. You could take that frustration and use it as fuel to find a really creative solution to whatever problem caused it in the first place. All right, so once you start getting a handle on your own inner world, you're ready for the next big step: connecting with the outer world. Let's look at how these skills we just talked about, self-awareness, self-management, how they actually play out in our relationships with other people. And this right here is where EI becomes a total social superpower. It starts with empathy, and we're not just talking about feeling sorry for someone. No, this is about feeling with them, really getting their perspective. Then, when you combine that with a second piece, relationship management, you can build these incredibly deep, meaningful connections. You can inspire people, lead them, and pretty much navigate even the trickiest social situations with grace. So, this all sounds great, but it brings up a big question, right? Are you just born with this stuff, or is it something you can actually learn? Let's dig into the blueprint of our emotional intelligence and find out. Well, it turns out it's a mix of both nature and nurture. For sure, our genetics and our basic temperament play a part, but so does our upbringing, our education, and all the life experiences we go through. And this is actually the best news because it means our EI isn't fixed. It's not set in stone. It's something we can work on and develop our entire lives. You know, something really fascinating pops up when you look at the research on gender. On average, you might see some trends, like females often scoring higher in things like empathy or social responsibility, and males scoring higher in, say, self-esteem or stress tolerance. But here's the kicker, the most important part. The research shows no significant difference in the overall level of EI between men and women. We just might lean into different strengths to express.
Okay, so where is all this emotional magic actually happening? Well, it's deep inside our own heads. We're talking about the brain. Specifically, the right hemisphere is kind of the command center for EI. It's processing all that stuff: our gut feelings, creative ideas, and all those tiny nonverbal cues that tell you what's really going on when you're talking to someone. A cool way to think about our brain is like it's a 3-layered onion. Deep in the center, you've got the reptilian brain. That's all about basic survival instincts. Then you have the middle layer, the amygdala. Think of that as your emotional alarm system. It's what fires up fear and anger. And then on the outside, you have the neocortex, the part that does all the rational thinking and planning. Now, having high EI is really all about getting these 3 layers to talk to each other and work together in harmony.
Now, Goleman's model is fantastic, it's a great foundation, but it's not the only game in town. So, to get an even fuller picture, let's take a quick look at another really influential framework: the Bar-On model. So the Bar-On model groups EI into 5 main areas. The first 2, intrapersonal and interpersonal, are pretty similar to what we saw with Goleman, understanding yourself and relating to others. But Bar-On adds 3 really interesting domains. First, stress management. That's how you cope with pressure, like handling a crazy deadline without freaking out. Then there's adaptability, how you manage change, like being open to a new project instead of fighting it. And finally, general mood, which is basically your ability to stay positive and optimistic.
Okay, we have covered a ton of ground here, from different models of EI to the science behind it all. But let's bring it all home. What does this actually mean for you? Why is working on your emotional intelligence maybe one of the most important things you can do for your success, both at work and in your personal life?
Look, if there is one single thing you take away from all this, please let it be this. Emotional intelligence is not some fixed trait you're born with. It's a set of skills. And just like any other skill, you can learn it, you can practice it, and you can get better at it over time. It doesn't matter how old you are or where you're starting from. You absolutely have the power to improve your EI and unlock so much more of your potential. So, as we wrap this up, I want to leave you with a question to think about. After everything we've talked about today, which one of these emotional skills do you want to start developing first? Just one. And what's one small, tiny step you can take this week to start that journey?